Well, hello there. Welcome to the Obi-Thorn Alliance. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Luke.
And in today's video, we're doing Ahsoka, my thoughts in the halfway point. As always, like and subscribe, comment down your thoughts, and stick around.
So, I don't know if anyone else out there like me has only watched 1 or 2 episodes and unsure if they want to go any further. So, Jacob's at the halfway mark. So, he's going to give us his thoughts at the halfway mark and see if that can convince me to keep watching it, or maybe it might convince me to not bother at all. So, how many episodes are out so far?
4 out of 8.
4 out of 8. Tell me a little bit about what's your first thoughts on it so far?
I'll start off with the positives. The lightsabers battles are amazing, on point, as good as the Clone Wars and Rebels, and even Episode 3 of Revenge of the Sith. The acting is amazing. But all that being said, for me, the storyline does not hold up compared to Endor, and unfortunately it very much feels like at this point they need to get Thrawn into the show, and it doesn't feel as convincing as I would hope. We're having stuff happen for conveniences, like basically Sabine, and this is minor spoilers for people that haven't seen it yet, basically gets stabbed with a lightsaber and she's completely fine. Well, in The Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon Jinn gets stabbed with a lightsaber and he dies. So stuff like that, I know she needs to survive because she's the main character, but just writing like that is a very not as good quality compared to Star Wars, Endor and stuff. That sort of writing to me is not as good writing compared to Endor, so I'm still enjoying it, but it just feels like they're forcing a character to come into a show.
I must say, throughout Star Wars or different spin-offs, I've been a bit unsure of the powers of a lightsaber. As you mentioned, one person can get killed by one, another person not. I saw in the first episode she was able to clean cut through the floor, and then struggles to cut through like certain metals and people's like swords and weapons. So I'm completely baffled as to the strength of a lightsaber. I find that's an inconsistency throughout the Star Wars universe so far.
Yeah.
And so they were the positives.
The positives were the lightsabers battle. The negative is the writing.
Okay. Are you going to continue watching it?
Yes, of course. They got me hooked with seeing Thrawn come back and start a war, and if Ezra is still alive on those front, but the writing is just not onto as good as Endor. And I know there's people out there that to them Star Wars is lightsabers. Well, personally, to me, I think Star Wars Endor nails what is Star Wars. It's more political, it's different factions, so personally I think Star Wars Endor is a better show than Ahsoka.
So from what I can gather, it sounds like this show kind of lacks substance and story, but instead just is action.
Yeah.
And which will probably half the people are going to love that. The people that complain that Andor didn't do that, but those like yourself that liked Andor because it provided story and substance.
Was epic.
Yeah, it lacks that, so they're finding it hard to get this right so far.
Yeah.
Where I think Obi-Wan, they tried to mix the two, but then again,
it just didn't work.
Yeah, again it didn't work. So it's the Star Wars shows that so far have been a bit hit and miss. Where does it sit in comparison to the other shows I've seen so far? So Andor is your favourite?
Yeah, Andor's number 1.
And is this better or worse than Obi-Wan?
I think it's better than Obi-Wan Kenobi, but we'll see how the other 4 episodes go.
And do you think that this show would have been better with more or less episodes at this point? It sounds like maybe they've taken a bit too long to get to the good part, and now it's going to be crammed in, or?
I'm happy with 8 episodes. We'll just see how the writing goes with the rest of the episodes.
And I guess you kind of know what happens next. It's just you don't really know how exactly it does, or we haven't visually seen it yet in any form of movie or show before. Or you don't know what's coming up next.
with Thrawn coming back. Well, we haven't really seen it yet, so we'll see.
But based on the movies, we assume that he
Dies.
Yeah, because otherwise we would have seen him in the movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna watch it. Would you say how hyped are you to continue watching it, or you just feel like you're halfway through, you got to finish it now?
I'm still liking it, but the critic in me is I'm very not liking the writing style. It's like, you know, the important MacGuffin that I was talking about, Sabine had it in her hand and could have given the option not to have Thrawn come back instead of destroying it. It's like, you know, her attachment to Ezra kind of not had that option.
So I guess that's them trying to build some kind of epic story that she has something that can bring back a loved one, but can also open Pandora's box and bring back someone evil, so they don't want to destroy it just in case there's a chance she could get a loved one back.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if she didn't have that attachment with Ezra, she would have destroyed it, no questions asked. So
Yeah.
it's an attempt at making it epic. So do you think I should continue watching it, or knowing my not as deep-seated interest in Star Wars, it's probably not worth continuing?
I think it would be better to finish off Andor and then Ahsoka.
Okay, that's solid advice. I have been sitting on Endor for a while now with a couple of episodes left. I probably should finish that. And I admit that I do like the epicness of that, and the lack of lightsabers I think is cool. But then I guess if you're really into action and lightsabers, then this show probably ticks boxes for that person.
Yes, and that's why I started off with the positives of the lightsaber battles. But I'm just saying that for me, I prefer story over action.
Any final thoughts to anyone out there that's unsure of what to do next, or to continue watching it?
Well, I guess it's what you prefer, action or story. Ahsoka, Andor kind of hit both balances. Andor is more of a visual and story masterpiece, what Ahsoka is kind of there in action and kind of down here when it comes to story. It's a very basic story, and really the villain shouldn't be able to come back because it's writing forcing him to come back. But they're two good options.
Okay, I'm intrigued to see when you finish the show whether that's changed or whether the next 4 episodes build in that story. I'm really intrigued to see how it goes and what kind of score you'll give it when we give a final review.
Yes. Well, as always, comment down your thoughts. Are you disagreeing and you think Ahsoka is better than Andor? Be very curious to know. As always, you're awesome and keep being awesome. Like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.